few who don't know us, I'll very quickly tell you who Britannic Technologies are. So very well established organisation, started in '84 and really been instrumental in providing services to our clients through all the different changes in this market, from analog through digital to IP to virtualized solutions, and to really where we're moving today, which is and in the future, which is cloud services. So I'll talk through the platforms that we've built, the innovation that we've brought to market, and I'll share with you really how it can be deployed within businesses. We are a leading independent company, so privately owned, and a lot of experience when it comes to systems integration and providing middleware technology, glue to link these different worlds together. It's been recognised across the industry through various awards, and also I think importantly through long-standing partnerships that we have with clients. So many 10, 15, and in fact in excess of 25 years. And today it's really providing that full end-to-end solution for clients. So as the technology has come together, it's really bringing together the world of telephony, IT, data center technology, wide area networks, and as an organisation we're very well versed in really managing what is complex projects and change management through technology with clients. Okay, a lot of very well established strategic partnerships, including the likes of Mitel and IMART, which we'll be presenting with today. And as an organisation, huge focus on quality. So quality within the way in which we work as an organisation, but also quality in the way in which we deploy projects and manage change for customers. And I think really the whole focus is based around the customer. You know, we recognise that this market is evolving at a tremendous pace. I think it's I've been in the industry for 17 years now. I know I don't look old enough, but it's true. And throughout the various periods of change that we've gone through, I think this is the most rapid and dynamic change that we've ever seen. So the whole models are changing, the technology is absolutely coming together, and there's many reasons for that, which I'll touch on through my presentation. But the business drivers, the opportunity and the economic climate and affordability of technology have really all collided to make this latest change that we're going through a very, very natural progression. So what we do is we really have got a lot of skill set within the organisation. We've got a team of developers, we've got highly trained technical staff, and also a very strong account management team. So what we do is we build, in essence, what is a team around customers. So it is very much a partnership approach that we take, where we're looking at the opportunity and the challenges and what can be derived from this new technology and new world that we're seeing, and then we really work together as a team to be able to execute upon these plans and these strategies. So the agenda, I've already talked through the running order. So as I said, I'll start off by really just talking through the approach and the models that we've built and the services platform and how we're helping our customers to embrace this change. And as I said, we'll then be working through the technology in more detail from a telephony standpoint. So how this technology is being delivered within a virtual environment, and as I said, this move to this flexible service platform and new models that are emerging. We'll look at that holy grail of more with less, so how virtualization can aid within that, within cost reduction and also improved management, and we'll get to hear from Ian as well. So, typical requirements that we're seeing, the more for less and more with less. You know, it's something that we've seen, I think, emerge over the last few years within the economic climate and challenges that we've all faced and been within, where organisations are looking at budget reductions, cost reduction, and looking at how they can actually get more for less cost and investment. Now, against that, we're also looking to try and do more with less as well. So people within the technical and the IT teams are having more and more projects loaded onto them, more and more pressure. I'm sure you can all identify with that. To be able to deliver transformation and improvement within the organisation, because we're in a time where the market clearly is very competitive. It's a buyer's market, so all of our consumers of the services that we deliver are expecting more from a consumer perspective. Everyone expects the 24/7 availability of organisations. They want convenience, they want ease, and where they experience great service, that is then their new benchmark, benchmark of expectation. So when they go and interact with the next supplier of products or services, that's the level they're now expecting. So we're in a period where it's dynamic, it's changing, and organisations are trying to differentiate, trying to add value, and technology absolutely has a key part to play within this. So it's how and where can we use technology to really leverage competitive advantage? How can we use it to be more agile and flexible in the way in which we're working? And indeed, how can we use it to reduce costs? And one of the elements on the business continuity, we've seen the introduction of a BSI standard, BS 25999, on business continuity, and that's something that is certainly getting pushed through supply chain, so starting really within public sectors and corporates, and really it's not uncommon for us as an organisation to be asked what we're doing from a business continuity perspective, what our plans are, how as a key supplier we can ensure our availability of not just us as an organisation, but within our supply chain and our services. So the world has changed, it will continue to change, and technology is a great enabler to support this change. So why do it? These are some of the things that we're really seeing with organisations is the need for greater agility and flexibility. So the sort of platforms we'll talk about will look at how they can flex up and flex down and scale with the needs of an organisation. We're in a period where there's been numerous mergers and acquisitions where organisations have looked to build scale and really take competition out of the market. And again, with that, the predictability of technology to be able to work out an overall strategy and a platform to scale, evolve, and introduce new services that can benefit an organisation, I don't think has ever been more important. Alongside that, we talk about the change and the addition of responsibility within the IT departments. You know, the telephone systems moved there some time ago when we moved into the IP world. In fact, one of my clients joked that if it's got a plug on it, it's now the responsibility of the IT team. So, you know, the depth and breadth of technology and services that the IT team are expected to support within a business continues to grow and evolve. So with that, the action, the management, the visibility and the control needs to be easier to be able to support this increased workload. So these are some of the things that we're looking at, and we will cover off across this presentation, across really all of the presentations from the session today. So some of the elements that are really driving change, so what's happening, cloud technology, software as a service. It's again, a lot of talk around the move to the cloud and applications and services that can be delivered within an organisation in a flexible environment with a cost per month, so more of a consumer type focus and basis to technology. As a business, we moved a number of our services, Microsoft services, to the cloud a few years ago, and we've realised a benefit of being able to consume elements such as our CRM system, our email, SharePoint, and collaboration technologies from the cloud. And also we've created a range of cloud services that we can deliver to customers as and where required without really the barriers that have been associated with premise equipment and services and software in the past. Who's already embarked upon cloud technology? Who uses cloud services today? Okay, so we'll show you some of the tools that are available and also coming down the line. I think, you know, as we move forward, I mean, the adoption will continue to grow and increase. You know, the price points will become more cost effective as well. And again, it's easier to budget. It's more predictable use of technology as we progress. Next generation networks. So there was a big move through point-to-point network connections, private circuits, through to MPLS networks, and really business-grade networks linking organisations together. And we're at a point where we're really onto that next path, that next change that's happening. So we're seeing the introduction of Ethernet technologies. We're seeing the introduction of Annex M and private DSL technologies, and I'll talk through those later on as to the impact and the benefit that they deliver. But there's a lot of change that's happening. Virtualisation is a huge change that's changing the way in which technology is delivered, controlled, and also making it a lot more flexible within the sort of resilient requirements that people have today. Who's moved data environments or servers into data centers? Who's embraced virtualization so far? Okay, and who plans to do so within the next 12 months? Okay, so it's a big change that we're seeing, and the model's really there, and the solutions that we're building are there to help people embrace change and realise greater benefit and return, not just from the IT and the applications world, but also within the telephony world. So the perfect storm, I'm afraid, mind you, I don't think any of us in the room are going to be that upset that George Clooney is not going to appear on the slide, but perfect storm, what's happening, what's changed, what's driving this change with technology and the adoption. So absolutely economic and financial pressures. So the whole point of more for less, looking at budgets, looking at cost savings that can be achieved, which have really been born out of market conditions. Those customer demands and expectations, and as part of it, it's not just about the 24/7 contact and extending reach of services, whether it be over the phone, whether it be email, whether it be web. It's that move of the multi-channel supporting choice for customers. So how are we aligning technology and interactions for our customers to accommodate the flexible way in which they want to be communicated with? Things such as CTI technology, linking the computer and database systems to the telephone systems. Great technology, been around for many, many years, but it's been quite cost prohibitive for people to embrace. And again, in the world in which we're in today, the price points have really reduced. So it makes it a lot easier to embrace technology that can make a big impact on the way in which you service and recognise customers. Who in the room doesn't get frustrated when they call an organisation who doesn't know them, even though they've been a customer for a long time? who can't find the information to hand and who gets transferred around unnecessarily within organisations. So there's lots of great technology that can help to really address all of these different points. You know, we're in a time where we want to all retain and grow customers, and to do that we need to use the right technology to service people. I mentioned business continuity, governance and risk, the green giants, carbon reduction, you know, environmental pressures and concerns, WWF, clearly you know, very, very important to their organisation, and we'll hear how the technology and services are really aligned around those principles. Globalisation of business. So many customers that we're working with and supporting today, we're looking at platforms that don't just extend across the UK, but really are there to deliver services internationally and technology internationally as well. Need for business agility, so spot an opportunity, you know, a new product, new service, new market region, and be in a position to be able to embrace that change through rapid deployment and utilisation of IT. And of course, technology development and availability and affordability. You know, the technology has moved on a long way. You'll hear this throughout the session today. And from an affordability point of view, the price points continue to come down. So in many cases where we're working with customers, we're able to work out a strategic plan, a roadmap where we can create self-funding projects, so we can realise cost savings out of existing environments. We can work out a strategy, and then we can free up cash and investment to be able to manage that change. So it really is focused around that more for less principle. So dawn of a new era. As you'll hear, the telecoms systems today have become virtual. You know, they can sit within a data center environment, which could be a customer data center. It could be a data center from a partner IOMart. It could be you know, a cloud solution that we're delivering from our data center in conjunction with people such as Mitel. So the whole model's changing. And we are seeing the move to the pay-as-you-go, the service model, software as a service, and technology as a service. And why? These are some of the elements that we're really looking at. Is how do we make it easy to manage, and you know, how can we also push down control to users for self-provisioning, self-management. So we've seen this within the consumer world, where we can go onto a website and a web service and set up functionality and control things ourselves, and have the flexibility, the agility and speed of change that we require. So how do we push that down through these new technology models that we have today into customers, really putting them in control, and also putting their users in control as well. I'll talk through cost saving through consolidation, because you know, it's something we've been doing a lot of over the last few years, of helping to really understand the current environment, the infrastructure, the supply chain, and against there's great economies of scale, so we're able to deliver significant cost savings, but importantly we can then start to align a plan and strategy to move forward, which then provides further cost savings in the future. And faster deployments. Again, some of the large organisations we're working with across multiple site locations, we're creating templates. So against this core infrastructure and platform that we're building, we're creating templates that can then be rolled out and deployed across an organisation. So we have the predictability, we can budget what is going to be required and what's going to be delivered, and the return on investment. But also it's a plan that we can then draw down from and execute quickly with confidence. Okay, so the old world, what did it look like, or what does it look like? So PSTN, ISDN channels on the right-hand side. So in the telephony world, people typically use ISDN as their primary inbound and outbound communication method. So is there anyone in the room who doesn't use ISDN for routing and receiving telephone calls? Okay, so not many. What I'll do is I'll talk through the SIP service that we're delivering and how it's delivered through different technology today. So the opportunity to remove or reduce the dependency on ISDN and move over to this data world, the IT networking world that we've seen grow and evolve over time, and the sort of benefits that can be derived from it. So typically we see two separate worlds, the ISDN world and then the wide area network. Now, of course, we have, with the introduction of IP, the opportunity of routing telephone calls over the wide area network. That promised benefit of free telephone calls, so free calls across the network, site to site, so anyone who's connected to the corporate network can call each other for free. But still, we see a lot of ISDN plans across an organisation. So the traditional view of ISDN is it's been very reliable. It's business grade telephony service. But if we look at an organisation as a whole, what we see is that it's a service that's over-resourced. There's not going to be a single location that runs to a bare minimum number of ISDN channels. And clearly what happens is you're always oversubscribed, because what you're doing is you're accommodating the highest possible peak and prediction that you could possibly have for that site with ISDN channels. Now, if you take that model and you replicate it across a number of sites, then that oversubscription increases dramatically. So one of our clients, Trailfinders, we went through this review with them. They had 1,400 telephone lines, so 1,400 ISDN channels across the organisation as a whole. And when we reviewed the true combined requirement, we saw the maximum peak they were hitting was 450 concurrent calls across the organisation. So they were hugely oversubscribed with ISDN lines and paying £15 per channel for the privilege of being oversubscribed. So, in a time when we're looking at how we can better utilise our budgets and our expenditure, it was quite an easy proposition to look at, well, if we move from that environment to a SIP world, there's some significant cost savings that can be achieved. So big reduction in costs for them across the period. The other thing with ISDN is it's pretty inflexible. So if I go and put an ISDN circuit in, I buy it starting in blocks of 8 and go up to 30 channels, and then if I need to grow, I need to go and place another order for an ISDN circuit and wait a period of time, and then it's in, and then I fill that one up, and so the problem continues. And of course, if over a period of time I decide that I don't need to use everything I've got, I'm now in a contract where I'm committed to that level of spend and utilisation from BT. So it becomes quite inflexible within a model where people are looking for agility. And as I said, the cost is certainly not insignificant. And within a DR perspective, the challenge we've got is if, as Trailfinders had, somebody were to cut through all of their channels into what was their main office within London on the busiest day of the year, so a Saturday in January, where they take a huge amount of business over the phone. 95% of their revenues comes in over the phone, and their busiest day of the year they were off air because somebody had cut through the ISDN lines. Yes, we were able to work with them and BT and get the calls moved, get all of the calls coming in to another bearer, but it took time, It cost money, but that certainly wasn't the concern for trail finders. But they were then in a position where all of the telephone calls that were coming in had to be moved en masse to a different bearer. So they didn't have the flexibility when they needed it of being able to move calls across the network. So they just had to load everything into a different location. So SIP, as I'll talk through, provides a change in the way in which voice services are delivered. And wide area networks. So again, these are expensive elements that are consumed and used across an organisation. They're used to link connections together. We do see the utilisation of voice across the network. We starting to see more and more applications run across the network, and indeed the introduction of video conferencing across the network. So bandwidth requirements continue to go up. With it comes the challenge of understanding the applications that are run across the network, how you manage that application delivery, and actually understanding what you really do need. Because guess what? A network company will just want you to keep throwing bandwidth at the problem. So you'll end up with a similar sort of model as the ISDN, where hugely oversubscribed without actually having the visibility and understanding of what's needed. So some of the challenges that we see. Now this is a really complex slide, so lots of pictures and clouds on there, and lots of text on there. But in essence, what it's doing is bringing together the two worlds. So the voice and the data worlds that have traditionally been separate can now reside on the same network, on the same platforms, and from a cost perspective, there's huge cost savings and rationalisation that can occur. So the example here for a fictitious company was 78% savings on the ISDN plants. But when we've looked at customers such as trail finders approaching £200,000 a year saving by moving from this old world and the current world that people know over to introducing SIP as a transmission mechanism, as a shared resource across an organisation. So what does that model really look like? Well, what we're seeing is in a traditional environment, people have lots of different telephone systems, lots of different software levels, lots of different manufacturers, and lots of different maintainers and service providers. And the same goes for the network service world. So they'll have ISDN providers, which may be BT, it may be another company with a wholesale agreement providing it on behalf of BT. They'll have wide area network contracts and services. They'll have internet, invariably separate internet provider and connections. So it becomes quite a complex world. And what we're doing out of that is, in essence, we're taking from the edge the telephony systems, the hardware, the software, and we're working with customers over a period of time, so planning out how and where these advantages can be achieved within an organisation, to bring the intelligence from the edge into the core. So we create a central pool of licensing. We load the applications into this core system, and then they're consumed from the edge across the business. So we're creating what becomes a hub to deliver IT and telecoms services right across an organisation. And this hub is resilient, so we're building services today within virtual environments and leveraging some of the change that you'll hear from Mitel within their technology and models to market. And we're either providing in customer locations, in data centres, or indeed up in the cloud. So we have a data centre environment that we've built over time, so highly secure, highly resilient data centres, all connected where we're providing our services to our customers, so our SIP exchange and our network management tools. And again, we're in a position where working with partners such as Ipanema, we're able to lift the traditional telephony systems out of the domain of customers to support the organisations that require that and want to make that move, and deploy those services into a secure, highly available, managed data centre environment. So these are the changes that we're seeing, going from a CPE environment to centralising technology, to moving into virtual platforms within a blade environment where technology can easily be moved and replicated, right up into the cloud as well. And once we're connected to this, we're then able to deliver a range of innovative applications and services that we've created to the market and to customers. So SIP technology. Who's aware of SIP? Okay, that's good. So lots of things happening with SIP. It's a protocol, as you'll know. One of the big opportunities, in addition to helping to join systems together for things such as presence and availability that you know about through unified comms, is actually the SIP trunking, the routing of telephone calls over data networks. So we've built up here a SIP trunking platform that connects to the BT network, so multiple connections into BT. And that's then enabling organisations to use data connections to connect through the core so that they can receive telephone calls. So it's enabling that change away from ISDN. You know, we know it's happening, we know it's coming. BT talk about the 21st century network, 21CN, which you know, we're starting to see some traction come through from BT now. But elements such as SIP, you know, it's not new. SIP trunking isn't new. We've been providing it to our customers and to market now for something in excess of 7 years, helping people achieve significant cost savings, but also resilience and continuity of service. So as calls come in through the exchange, we can then choose where we distribute them to. So we've got the ability not only to distribute on our network, but to distribute to other locations as well. So it could be a hosting centre, it could be home workers, it could be mobiles, it could be a bureau service in the event of downtime. So what we're looking at is how we support customers' continuity plans through these new types of technology. I'll talk around CTI a little bit and also WAN governance. So as we're loading more and more applications onto the network, as I mentioned, you know, do we carry on increasing the bandwidth, or do we actually get a greater understanding of what is being consumed across the network and scale our network and manage our network accordingly? So Britannic, we bought, working with a company called Ipanema, we bought a service platform that we deliver as a managed service for clients, and there's a couple of slides on that as well. And this really is the last piece of the jigsaw that's helping to bring this together, is the changing networking technologies. So I mentioned organisations that have really taken that move from private circuit, point-to-point connections through MPLS networking, and what we're seeing today is the introduction of new network technologies through Ethernet and Ethernet first mile and Annex M and private DSL technologies, which in essence means that the price point of business grade networks reduce, and where the great opportunity comes really is being able to bridge and take a sort of a flexible pick and mix approach across this networking space to look at individual locations and requirements and availability of network technology and also budget considerations that people have, and actually build what is a custom design network solution but using widely available technology from tier 1 carriers. So we've done a lot of work interconnecting with tier 1 carriers into our core, so that we can, in essence, take tails from each of these organisations, bridge them together, and deliver a more flexible, easier to manage, greater information and availability service at a more affordable cost. And I certainly know, talking to another customer, some of the challenges they had working with another organisation with an MPLS service, that when they wanted to make changes, there were set models that the big MPLS providers were working to. And it was very hard for them to get the changes made, and if they could get the changes made, get them made within a suitable time frame. And then when they were looking at control and information and reporting, it was always a bit of a black hole as to what was going on and what was happening. So we've introduced tools that I'll talk through that have helped us to give that visibility through to our customers as to what's being consumed across the network. Okay, so a few of the technologies that we deliver from the cloud, so service platform. NetX is the term, the brand that we've given to our SIP exchange platform. It's a carrier-grade SIP exchange. We deliver both in a public cloud environment and also in a private cloud environment for customers, so accommodating different models people want to work to. We've got direct connection into the Great Big BT Exchange, so supporting both IP and SIP, and also calls coming in from the PSTN network. And then we're helping customers to migrate from ISDN to SIP. So there's various routes that we take where we can set up, in essence, pilots where we can connect from existing networks into our SIP exchange environment. So prove the technology, which has worked very successfully. I'm pleased to say every customer that's taken us up on a pilot and a proof of concept has then moved on to onto the service moving forward. So, I recognise that some of this technology we talk about is seen as being new, and there will always be concerns over leading edge technology. It's technology we've provided, as I said, for 7+ years now, and we're helping customers evaluate technology, this change, the reason for this change within a controlled manner. It provides the ability to scale up and scale down, so with peaks and troughs we can increase the channel availability and then reduce where it's not needed. And by all means, there's a huge benefit from a cost reduction perspective, so moving from the 13 to 15 pounds for ISDN to £5 for a SIP channel. We've got inbuilt resilience as well, so if there's a problem we can reroute at the exchange level. So the same sort of flexibility that people have enjoyed from non-geographic numbers can now be achieved through geographic numbers. And from a point of view of presenting telephone numbers, there was a recent organisation I was talking to that had actually been told by BT that if they were to go through a SIP provider, they wouldn't be able to present their own telephone number, which was a very strange thing for BT to say. So we're fully in control of the SIP platform we deliver. We're fully in control of the numbers that we provide to customers. So whether they're within the existing ISDN world and we port over, whether they're new number ranges, whether they're within the current exchange area, or indeed whether we're providing out of area telephone numbers that you can use within the organisation, we can present whatever number is required. So we can mask a presenting number or present a different one out. So a lot of flexibility through that platform. Net Manager, a couple of slides I'll talk through because this is again really important as we load more applications onto the network. We need to be able to predict bandwidth utilisation, performance, and also then the most important thing is guarantee the performance of the applications, because what we don't want is as we start to load more and more applications onto the network, we don't want applications to degrade in service. We don't want to keep getting those phone calls of my application's hanging, it's frozen, it's not performing how it should be. So we've created a tool that enables our customers to get visibility, to optimize the control of the network, and then also to use acceleration technologies as well to provide a greater return. And then the NetConnect technology we use as a CTI middleware platform. So we've had a lot of skill sets within linking database and telephony platforms for many years now, 15 years, and we recognise the opportunity that's available from a productivity and an efficiency perspective, but also creating that wow factor for customers. So when you can welcome your customers, when you can route them through to people who know them, who can engage with them better and deliver a better level of service, A, it's more efficient, but B, more importantly, it absolutely creates that wow factor that makes a difference and gets remembered. So we created a middleware platform that we can deliver within a CPE environment, a data center environment and cloud environments that can link a wide range of telephony platforms and software applications. So if you want to start to look at embracing the screen pop and the click to dial and the skills or preference routing, again, this technology is available to help with that. So Net Manager, just before I hand over to Ian, it's a service that we really looked at from a perspective of stage one was how do we provide reporting to customers across an MPLS network, because in essence reselling somebody else's MPLS service, we were beholden to the reporting and interfaces they were delivering, which it wasn't really meeting our needs, and it certainly wasn't meeting our customers' needs. So we went out to look at a reporting suite, and what we actually came across was a company called Ipanema that deliver what is a really market-leading portfolio of technology that ticks the box for reporting and visibility, but also it helps organisations not just to accelerate performance across the network, but to be able to dynamically manage and control the bandwidth utilisation against business critical applications. And that's the big distinction here, is that we've got within the consumption across a network, there'll be a lot of consumer type applications that run in a business environment. So the iPlayers, the YouTube, and even if it's outside of normal working hours, we're all working longer hours today anyway, so it could still impact upon the performance and consumption of the business applications. So what we wanted to do was to really create an environment where our customers can grade and categorize those applications that are critical to their organization and their services that they deliver and their operation. And then we wanted to align the right control and parameters and bandwidth for those applications to work to meet the expectations of the users of the business. Also, as a byproduct, what we're able to do is we're able to go and audit the existing network using this technology. So we can start to look at what are the critical applications, and then also what are the applications that, quite frankly, if they were turned off, it would have no impact to the organisation whatsoever. And what is very interesting is that the low criticality applications are actually consuming proportionately a higher amount of the bandwidth anyway. So we're paying and making it faster and easier for people to do things that they potentially shouldn't be doing within the business, which is a really interesting position to be in. So what we're doing is we're looking at the applications, we're grading them, we're able to see what runs across the network. We're able to then get a sense right across not just a single operation, but the whole of the wide area network, build up these patterns and profiles, And then we can look at the parameters in which they need to operate effectively. So we go and set those parameters, and then we use, on the previous slide, we go and use scoring, so application quality scoring. So in the voice world, it's MOS scoring. In the application software world, it's application quality scoring, and we look against the parameters that they need as to, if they don't get it, what starts to become an impact on the end user. So we can create color coding and dashboard views and alerts, so we can see if things aren't working very well, what's not working, and we can start to manage and tune our network accordingly. And once we set these objectives up, they're then pushed out across the network as a whole, and services are then delivered from the data center, from the application hosts. It will automatically manage the flow of traffic, the bandwidth utilization intelligently, to be able to, as I said, guarantee the end user experience against the application requirements and bandwidth available. And as things change, as new applications come on, as new sites come on, you regrade the criticality of applications, and it will dynamically manage it for you. So no longer needing to go in and have to set different configurations and setups on a network. We can use this tool to understand it and dynamically manage and control this. And here's a dashboard view, so yellow indicates that it's all working fine, that it's something we should be aware of. We've got full drill down capability, supported as a managed service from our NOC, but also available to our customers. And this is great to see that when I go back and look at organisations using it, stage one is visibility, understand the applications that are in use and understand how well they're performing against business requirements. So it tells us really what service we're delivering. And then when we start to introduce governance, so we look at providing the parameters these applications need to work within, we can see that the problems start to disappear from the core applications. And then once we've done that, we can introduce acceleration technologies to gain further benefit out of our bandwidth. So it's really great seeing this in a live environment. Go and look at these reports across large networks to be able to see the impact of making these changes and then hearing back from customers the difference that it's made from a visibility point of view, and also from a reduction in calls into the IT help desk saying that my XYZ application's hung again. It doesn't need to be a problem anymore. So benefits of the new world, they're very much focused around customers. So it's a bespoke review and plan that we're going to put together, but it's drawing upon tried and tested technology and also tried and tested paths and programs that we work to. There's a whole host of benefits you'd expect to see and hear and achieve as a result of these changes. But importantly, what we will do is we'll work together to put a roadmap, put a strategy together, and then we will work together to build that the business case and justification, so you can take it back to the organisation and know with confidence how we will go and support these changes, the plans that we'll go through, the stages that we'll go through, because this isn't something that is going to happen overnight. This is a change that's happening over a period of time, and what we're doing is we're working with customers in partnership to create a 3 to 5 year strategic plan for change. We break those steps into projects that are all documented. So as I mentioned, we use Prince2 project management principles within the business. I've got a team of Prince2 practitioners who work for me, so that when we go and build these projects, we're using those skills at the front end as much as we're using them through the project execution as well. And there's a number of technology anchor points that we can work through and talk through and help you evaluate. So whether it be SIP, whether it be the new networking technologies, whether it be how we're managing the edge and the routers and the information and the flow of applications through that network, to whether it be looking at embracing this change and opportunity that's happening within virtualization and cloud and data centers. So we'll help you plan the steps. We'll help you to understand where you're currently at. You know, we're well versed in doing this. Again, teams of people will crunch billing information and look through suppliers and services that are being consumed, and we'll provide reports so you can get visibility of what's happening, understand where the costs are going, understand what services are being consumed and what's being paid for, what's actually needed and what isn't needed, so we can go through a rationalisation programme. We can support the demand we're seeing for supply chain consolidation and rationalisation, so we can go back in working ourselves and also through partnerships to help to reduce supply chain, provide a single point of contact, and against there be in a position where we can realign contracts accordingly. So against the plan we're working to, we can turn off legacy contracts and legacy services, and then we can embrace new technology in a way in which has always been difficult across that mixed supply chain of, I know where I want to get to, but you know, how on earth do I get there? I've got this chaotic world of lots and lots of different suppliers and services and hardware and software, and you know, all the contracts, you know, none of them are aligned, and to be able to make that change is going to be a real challenge. So where we're all trying to look at how we improve the productivity and the efficiency of the organisation, there's lots of great technology that will do it, but to be able to introduce it, we need you know, the right framework and core to be able to add into. So that's what we'll help with. So as I said, a plan that we'll work to, and it will be custom built, but we'll be using experience, skill set, and tried and tested plans and technology. So 7 steps in the sand, isn't that a nice picture? So steps of virtualization and SIP. So some of the things that you know, in this world we can help with and work through is review existing infrastructure, undertake pilots to understand the service, the technology, the quality, the flexibility, the resilience, the cost saving. You know, as and when applicable, create that virtualized core, start to manage the migration of services, introduce technology to manage the performance of the application, so as we're adding more in, be able to control it. And that's only going to increase, so as we start to consume more and more from the cloud as well, there'll be more applications we need to be aware of and predict and control. Right size the model, so move towards that, you know, the match of what's being provided against what's needed, and the scale up, scale down model, and then really execute and create what is a very flexible and adaptive platform.